To be honest, I expected a little more, but okay. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So yesterday, Americans celebrated Memorial Day, and squad members Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush posted tweets confusing it with Veterans Day. That's still not as bad as when they thought Labor Day was a holiday for pregnant men. But Ilhan reminded us that Memorial Day was still a great weekend to spend with the family and the in-laws, who, in her case, are the same people. She married her brother. I'm not sure, but I think she did. Anyway, according to a new report in Politico, Democrats are in full-blown freak-out about Joe Biden's chances in November. Not about the election, but whether he'll be alive. Terrible. You disgust me. Hillary Clinton is now blaming women for her loss in 2016. Yeah, she tends to do that, responded one observer. Former actor Robert De Niro got into a confrontation outside Donald Trump's New York trial, shouting at a heckler, "You're an effing idiot." De Niro later apologized, saying he thought it was his agent. Some bad movie choices. Last week, a biological male won the girls' championship at the Washington State High School track and field meet. He told reporters his secret to winning was pretending he was a girl. At least he's honest. Rashida Tlaib spoke at an event connected to a group of the U.S. regards as a foreign terror organization. However, the group's denouncers and supporters both agreed Tlaib should totally cover her face. I know. I agree. A new study claims the average American spends over 2 hours a day dream scrolling. That is, looking at pictures of things they'd like to own one day. True, I always look at the same thing. You have a problem with it? Don't kink shame. Angel Hernandez, the worst umpire in Major League Baseball, has retired. Yeah. He plans to spend his retirement with a beautiful, luscious, voluptuous blonde. See, he's got bad eyesight. That was the joke. You'll laugh on the way home. Finally, today is National Hamburger Day. To celebrate, guess who insisted on working from home? I get it. All right, can Democrat women leave men alone? Isn't that what we men want, really? Just to do our jobs, help when we can, but get out of the way when we're no longer needed. Like an airport wheelchair or an Iranian helicopter. But on The View recently, a collection of angry female Dems pounced on a guy like he was the last free sample at Costco.
Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out. Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, it's not that we need you to say it, but I think other folks need to hear.
The reality is I think both candidates are trash. So but I am going to vote in November, and I'm going to vote my best interest, and I'm going to vote who I think, can preserve democracy. When you look at somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him. For a number of reasons.
Help him out.
Well, no, look, I actually...
Help him out by doing what?
The only way they could have applied more pressure is if they sat on him. But... I mean, no, it's just a natural fact. It's science. But of all people, they should know that you catch more flies with honey because they eat flies. Anyway, it made me wonder if The View were a bunch of guys, and I'm still not sure they're not. Would they have done the same thing? What if it were a show called The Garage, where dudes interview another guy over politics? What would they do if one of them disagreed? Would they harangue him like he came home smelling of cheap perfume with stripper glitter stuck to his face? No, they wouldn't argue for hours or all night. They'd wait till he fell asleep and put his hand in warm water. That's because men just want to help and then be left alone. And the new Democratic Party, a mix of Karens and cucks, driven by too much estrogen across both genders, won't let them. And those who bail on the Dems in favor of Trump, they get called stupid. Listen to Anna Navarro talking about Trump's rally in the Bronx.
there are some Latino immigrants who forget they came here as immigrants and who want to shut the door behind them, and who think being anti-immigrant somehow is going to make them pass as more American, pass as whatever. And that's a very stupid attitude to have.
The only people Anna should call stupid are those who think she's still a Republican or that her husband's straight. Fact is, I don't know. I don't know. I just am raising questions. The fact is, the real reason for the shift in numbers from the Democratic Party to Trump, blacks, Hispanics, working class whites, is not spelled out by the media for good reason. Because it's men leading the exodus. It's not race, it's gender. And it's a race to the exits by men who are fleeing the Democrat Party like it's a bikini car wash full of sixes.
I'd probably stay.
Fact is, men don't feel welcome for apparently committing the cardinal sin of actually wanting to be men. And that's only a sin if you're a biological male. If you're a chick who wants a The View would hand you a Jimmy Dean pork sausage, some super glue, and shout, "You go, girl." Disgusting. Because to the woke, there's nothing sexier than a ballerina with a 5 o'clock shadow. But look who's running most of the Trump investigations. Women. And look at the liberal judges coddling criminals. Women. Look at the Squad. Women. I know they look like a barbershop quartet from Damascus, but trust me, they're women. And look at Joe Biden. If he has any balls left, they're in a Mason's jar in Jill's shoe closet. Look who's leading the campus protests. Pampered, elite, but unhinged chicks.
We want liberation here! We want liberation here! Say it louder, say it clear! Liberation! Down, down with occupation! Free, free, free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Girls, 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 there's enough Hamas for everybody. Usually when I see that many screaming women, it's because Kudlow's robe fell open. But it reminds me of the angry women shouting at people for not wearing masks during COVID, empowered by misdirected anger and newly given authority. Now women are forking over as much as $8 grand for therapy that has them express rage by breaking things. Excuse me, why not just let them drive?
A sexist would say.
Meanwhile, the women who had the support of all women now has turned on them once again. Hillary now blames 2016 on female voters because they expected her to be perfect. Darling, no one expected you to be perfect, only honest, hardworking, and innocent of murder. Now, Sonia Sotomayor says she sometimes goes to her chambers and cries after a Supreme Court ruling doesn't go her way. Also, when Brett Kavanaugh tells her he just wants to be friends. Bottom line, as the Democratic Party becomes female, the Republican Party becomes more male. But you need men and women together to make things work. Two halves work better as a whole. If it's only men, you get war, crime, pornography, dwarf tossing, often in the same bar. If it's only women, you get terrible laws that excuse the insanity that I just mentioned. But put them together, they make sweet, sweet music. Music that we used to call civilization. So men, keep trying to make that sweet sound. And women, put on a sweater if you're cold. Let's welcome tonight's guest. If you're not excited by this guest, then you ain't black. Author of Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks, Charlamagne the God. She comes out shooting if you serve her gluten. Host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. She's like Ernest Hemingway. She writes books and shouldn't be near a shotgun. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tiff. Here we go. And he refers to the Grand Canyon as the just okay canyon. New York Times bestselling author and comedian and former NWA World Champion Charlamagne, congratulations on the new book.
Thank you. You must have amazing security. I mean, Jesus Christ. You must have amazing security, and you must not care about none of your women viewers.
No, the women, they love me because I speak the truth, Charlamagne.
Okay.
But the thing is, I only talk in small talk because I'm a very tiny person. I barely break 5 feet.
I can relate. I'm 5'6", though.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. So when is this book out now?
Yes, it's out right now. Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks.
Yeah, why does small talk suck?
Because I think we spend too much time making micros macros, especially in this era of social media. Like, you can probably go online right now and see like 3 or 4 things trending, and you're like, what the hell are these people even talking about? And I think that what happens is we make these micros, macros, so much so that when it comes to the actual macros, the things we should be discussing, we either don't or don't know how to.
We can't tell the difference anymore.
Can't tell you, everything is on the same scale.
Yeah, exactly. I can actually get super angry over the stupidest thing, and then something horrible happens, and I'm like, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what this book is for. This book is for people who just want to have bigger discussions about things, and it's giving people permission to be like, yo, I don't want to have the small talk right now. Like, you know, sometimes somebody will sit by you, and you know that they're about to have like that little small chit chatter, you know, talking about a whole bunch of nothing. You can feel free to tell them, Charlamagne said, hey, we don't have to do this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, before I move on, did you feel at The View that it was unfair that they expected you to commit publicly to your vote?
No, I didn't feel like it was unfair. The thing that that bothers me about shows like The View, and it's not a bother, it's just the media in general sometimes, like, the left doesn't really know how to push their narrative. Like, one thing I always give the right credit for is they know how to push a narrative. If the narrative is, you know, black people are leaving the Democratic Party, or, you know, Donald Trump's numbers with black voters are looking like they're going to be 22% or whatever it is, which I think is a little bit overstated. Whatever, you know, soundbite they can get to push that narrative, they will. So if I say Joe Biden is an uninspiring candidate with no main character energy, which I really, truly believe he is, they'll take that. Fox will run that all day long. They won't.
Welcome.
But I happen to be, you know, one of the 1 in 4 who doesn't like either candidate in America. And like, I think that, you know, I'm just also part of the exhausted majority in this country. It's not about Democrats, it's not about Republicans. I'm just sick of it all.
That's a great adjective, exhausted. I do think people are exhausted.
I got that from my man Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a nice fella.
Yeah.
You know, Kennedy, you're a woman, or so you claim.
I did push 2 babies out my hoo-ha, Greg.
Yes. And as far as I can tell.
You identify as? Just making sure. I got to ask now.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It depends who's paying me.
I'd like to go back to the book. We don't have to make this conversation happen, right? Cool.
What do you make of the idea that it's mostly men that are leaving the party?
I mean, you know, and I've told you this before. My older teenage daughter, all of her guy friends are now conservatives. They identify as conservatives. They make people mad by being conservatives. That's why it didn't surprise me with, you know, places like UCLA, my alma mater. I was disgusted by how they handled the protests, which weren't protests, but it was no surprise that the people who were on the right side, in my view, were like fraternity boys in the South. Because they're like, we've had enough of this. And they are exhausted. They're exhausted because they're told that they are oppressors. They're told that they are misogynists. They're told that no matter what they do on a college campus, there should be an action against them, that there's not civil discourse between men and women, like men only take, and it's just simply not true. But we've gotten to a point where men are really mad at women, as you know, you can see from your dialogue, but women are really mad at men because they were given the choice, would you rather be in a forest with a bear or a man? And most women said the bear. Like, what the hell is wrong
Because
with
they've never been in
people?
the damn forest. Because if they'd been in the forest, they wouldn't even want to around with a squirrel.
No, if you show a bear your boobs, he's going to eat you.
It was a trick question.
Never mind. Actually, I
trick
take
question.
Thank you.
The bear and the man were the same person.
But the bear's not going to eat her because she's a woman. He's going to eat her because he's hungry.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I think we solve a lot of major problems here. One of them being world hunger. Kat, do you want to comment on the fact that Hillary is now on women again?
She didn't on him like you did. Yeah, you don't want to get at
I love women.
You know,
some say too much.
I would like to say, like, I have been on by a lot of Democratic women, but I've also been on by a lot of conservative women too. So I'm also part of the 1 in 4, right? And I think that what I saw in that interview too was just on a larger scale. I think that in my book that comes out in September, I write about this a lot, this binary thinking of you're either for Trump or you're for Biden. And I think what's worse is, let's say you're for Trump, people then think, okay, so if you're not for Trump, then that means you're against me as a human being. And I think that that's so dangerous because we're missing out on all these things where we could be talking about actual issues and not just arguing over these two dudes over and over and actually writing each other off over people that like don't even know we exist.
Exactly, people you don't talk to, people you don't see, but you see online, and they somehow matter more to you than the actual people you see every day. Tyrus, as a man, what advice can you give to women who are literally destroying their own party?
None.
There you go.
No, absolutely nothing at all. When I see them, just get quiet. I didn't write the book.
Smart man.
But yeah, anyone who's been in a household of Thanksgiving when all the women get together at the table, if you're not in front of the football screen or getting your ass to pretend like you're washing some dishes, you're going to be in for a long day at that table because we're facts-based. That's the general argument, man, is facts. When we greet, say hello, what's up? I'm good. You good? Cool. Lifting today? Yeah. All right. Catch a beer later on? Bet. Out. That takes us, what, 15 seconds tops? Same conversation with a woman, it's 45 minutes. And the whole time, she's going to be like, I don't know where I want to eat. Do you want to have a beer? Then you'll say beer, and you get to be like, you know, maybe I should have had wine. Because women are more feelings, and guys, that's why we don't get involved. We stay out. And plus, to your point, there is no more talking and discussing. Everyone has made their line. We're all in echo chambers now. Nobody's listening. No one's saying, hey, man, I just heard a great argument. And you know what? I'm going to vote Democratic this year. I heard a great argument. I'm going to go Republican. You know what? I don't like either candidate. I'm going to vote independent or whatever, or just write a name in there. You can't do that now because as soon as you say that, oh, you're not with me, you're against me. The only thing I had issue with Whoopi was I didn't like her phrasing of words to him because I felt like she was saying there are other people. Now, as an actor, knowing when sometimes how you vote or how you talk about your social issues will affect you getting jobs and stuff. And I just felt it was hypocritical of going like, well, other people, you need to say it for other people. You had to change your damn name to get auditions from the same group you're demanding that he comes out and supports. And that I have a problem with that. I'd rather be unemployed and sleep well at night with my beliefs than kowtow and tater and come on a show and they'll be like, you need to bend the knee. And when you say respectfully, I don't bend the knee to anybody, that's where all the problems come from because we're done talking.
Yeah, and they assume that I wasn't voting just because I said I wasn't.
Exactly, and that's my point.
I never said that. That never happened. I agree with something Kat said so much where she talked about how we should be discussing issues, not individuals. If we're in a presidential, election year where people aren't, feeling either one of the candidates, shouldn't we be talking about issues more than individuals? Because as soon as you bring up either one of those individuals' names, it's like, ugh.
You're done.
But if we talk about issues, we can have an actual conversation.
But the problem is with issues, you cannot other people if you actually agree on things. And if you talk about issues, you will find commonality. And that is deadly to a two-party system.
Exactly. Now, we got to move on.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.